In the early 1980s, a young couple, Sarah and Mark, moved into a quaint, secluded home in a small Pennsylvania town. The house was a fixer-upper, but the price was right, and it was exactly the fresh start they were looking for. But the house had a history, one that the realtor was careful not to mention. The previous owners had left in a hurry, leaving behind furniture, clothes, and even food in the cupboards. As Sarah and Mark unpacked their belongings, they found strange things buried in the clutter. Old photographs with faces scratched out, children's toys left abandoned in the attic, and a small wooden door in the basement that had been padlocked shut from the outside. One night, while lying in bed, Sarah heard faint noises coming from inside the walls. It sounded like scratching, as though something or someone was moving between the studs. She mentioned it to Mark, but he dismissed it as old house noises, probably mice or squirrels. But the scratching grew louder over the next few nights, always at the same time, 3:15 a.m. Then there was the voice. Sarah was alone in the house one afternoon when she heard it, a faint whisper, like a child's voice calling out from deep within the walls. "Help me!" She froze, her breath catching in her throat. It was soft, barely audible, but unmistakable. "Help me!" Terrified, Sarah called Mark, who rushed home and tried to calm her down. He believed it was her imagination playing tricks on her. After all, the stress of moving into a new home could do that. But that night, Mark heard it too. They decided to break open the wall where the sound seemed to come from. Armed with a hammer, Mark smashed into the drywall, revealing nothing but dust and old insulation. But as he continued, they found something disturbing. Small, old scratches like fingernail marks carved into the wooden beams inside the wall. They stopped, horrified by the thought that someone might have been trapped inside. The next day, they called a contractor to check the house's structure. While inspecting the crawl spaces, the contractor uncovered something chilling. In the far corner of the basement, hidden behind that padlocked door, was a bricked-off section. When they removed the bricks, they found the skeletal remains of a child. The police were called, and after an investigation, they learned the horrible truth. Decades ago, the previous owner had gone mad and sealed his own daughter inside the walls, leaving her to die alone in the darkness. No one had ever found her until now. After the discovery, the whispering stopped. But Sarah and Mark could never shake the feeling that the house still carried the echoes of that poor child's final moments. They sold the house and moved away, but the memory of the voice inside the walls haunted them for years. And to this day, those who move into the house report hearing the faint scratching, and sometimes, if they listen closely enough at 3:15 a.m., a voice whispers from within the walls, "Help me."